Most video games display characters who are classified into different roles based on their race. Violent video games generally portray characters of Latino, American, and African American backgrounds. These characters have facial features associated to aggressiveness and other acts of violence that may be portrayed by gangsters, mobsters, or drug addicts. On the other hand, well-rounded video games portray characters of all races and provide a lot of content for players to enjoy. However, these video games still contain characters who are created based on stereotyped portrayals of each race. For example, an Asian man may be a musician or be a famous businessman wearing formal, nice clothes. Meanwhile, a Latino middle-aged man may be portrayed as a gangster or drug addict wearing worn-out clothes and generally shows anger management issues towards others. These stereotypes of different races develop the characters that game content developers take into account when creating a certain human character in their video games. After all, not many people would play a game where a businessman tries to rob a bank. The character doesn't match the scenario or objective of the game. This lack of diverse personalities for characters defines a stereotype that adults and children are well accustomed to. One clear example of stereotypes developing in video games is in the famous game created by Rockstar Games' Grand Theft Auto V. In this game, the overarching objective is to become the very best and have the most money online. In order to achieve this, players go through a variety of different missions and objectives in the city of Los Santos. Players are allowed to choose 3 different characters to carry out the missions. The first character, Michael, is a veteran bank robber who lives in a home with a family who hates him. The gameplay aspect of Michael in one bank vehicle capture scene is where he blocks the road in front of the vehicle.
Is that yours?
Of course not.
I've only got myself to blame for the mess these kids are in. You are either drunk, or you're staring miserably at the clouds, or you're out there doing God only knows what.
Alright, I pulled up. Get ready, Frank.
The second character is Franklin, a former street gangster who gave up his set-up life and pursues his career. The gameplay aspect of Franklin is where he rams the vehicle when it is stuck.
You are Employee of the Month, huh? Anyway, congratulations.
The third character is Trevor, a habitual drug user who walks around with a mean attitude towards everyone else. In the gameplay, his role is to be the onlooker spotting out the vehicle they are capturing, as well as the cops that were arriving in order to stop the capturing of the bank vehicle.
Gets banned.
I got a visual on the target. Should be with you any moment.
Of the bank vehicle. These depictions of the characters develop stereotypes towards people of these races, and players start to become accustomed to the belief that people who wear these clothes perform violent acts towards others. In Strategic Simulations and Our Past by Kevin Shutt, he presents the idea that video games depict other kinds of historical focuses that appear in historical representations of the past. These games feature broader cultural issues where the function of the game is to help the player become successful. These cultural backgrounds may be one of aggressiveness and violence. GTA 5 clearly depicts and proves Kevin's claim that video games cause stereotypical associations towards the aggressiveness and dominant nature of certain people created only to help the player's success, or in GTA's case, obtain lots of money and become rich. Another issue with this video game is in the aspect of racial diversity. Within the game itself, the game developers never added an Asian or European character as part of the game. A lack of racial diversity creates a certain viewpoint of the game that can be restrictive. Due to the limited characters available to play, players are not allowed to experience this game through an Asian character, and this restricts the development of GTA 5's story towards Latino African American and American backgrounds only. Even though diversity may be good in general for a video game, a popular video game inspired by Blizzard Entertainment called Overwatch presents problems when a game contains many diverse characters. In Overwatch, one positive aspect of the video game are the voice actors featured in the video game itself. People from all around the world are featured in the game to voice over certain voice lines for different characters. Another positive aspect of the game is the story of each character and animations depicting their backgrounds. Here's one example of the many animations created to develop the backstory to the characters.
I know you tell yourself that your brother disobeyed the clan, and that you have to kill him to maintain order. That it was your duty.
It was my duty, and my burden. That does not mean I do not honor him!
Despite the diversity in the game, as stated previously, game developers create characters featuring these racial stereotypes. Due to these stereotypes, each hero portrays a commonly perceived character of the race. For example, one hero in the video game, Doomfist, is of the African American background. One problem with this hero is the voice lines that are presented by the character himself. One of his abilities is a punch, where he charges up his fist and yells while smashing other characters or opponents. Another ability of his also yells at the opponent while lunging himself at the enemy. This portrayal of Doomfist creates a stereotype towards African Americans that can be associated to yelling while being angry, as they are portrayed by this one character's yelling while using abilities. This is one example where harmful stereotypes can be produced by video games. Overall, video games can be fun and exciting to play with. With GTA 5, players are able to experience the game through different lenses and reach the objective to become the very best and obtain lots of money. With Overwatch, players get to choose from a diverse class of characters to form teams and win by controlling objectives or capturing a point. However, racial stereotypes can arise from these video games that can lead to destructive and harmful portrayals of the races while players are being consumed by the video game. These stereotypes can be very racist and end up damaging the portrayal of a certain race just through playing a seemingly harmless video game.